I don't want to burn out my viewing audience by over posting, going crazy with lives. 2 in one day. This one will be quick. I was just thinking a couple of things. One, I should have a name for all my followers, you know? That's a thing people do, right? I remember when my kids used to invent imaginary YouTube channels and like record themselves and talk to their audience when they were little. They they had a name for their audience. They called it the Hand. It was like I thought it was cute at the time, and now it's very creepy. For some reason, I find that like super creepy. So I'm gonna call my audience the Hand. My viewing audience. Hello, welcome. I'm TNT. This is Here, Hold My Boobs. In today's episode, um, here. Oh, so bowls, we've talked about this a few times, but if you're new here, you might not know yet about booby bongos. That's the practice of having a shirt, right? And you put under your shirt or whatever, you put a couple of bowls of whatever size you prefer, necessary or unnecessary, whatever. And and they're really fun. And you can use them like bongos. And they're pretty comfy as far as like functionality goes. If your goal is to have a thing that holds your boobs, bowls are it. I'm not sold on anything else yet. Better, you know. I switched it up. I had been using wooden bowls, which are still my favorite, but these guys are doing all right. Today, got the old, the like this Japanese. I feel like I could serve up some miso in this later. Multitask. Hello, genius. Just keeps flying right out of me. I don't know. I'm underutilized. Can I tell you? But I have my tools. I'm in the middle of a process. I'm making a stained glass whale. It's a breaching humpback. And she's making a wave. She's like breaking the surface and the tension. And it's really difficult. It's making me like I'm having emotions. Creating art manifests. And when you're manifesting something and you're not sure, it's intense sometimes. I have to take myself for walks and watch sunsets and sunrises and exercise and do all the things to like maintain my tempo because I'm all worked up. You know what I mean? It's not just the art. It's not just the making of the art. Obviously, it's the necessary catharsis in the current universe, state of the universe, state of the world, particularly state of my nation. Place is a friggin' madhouse. You know what I mean? So anyway, eat your vegetables. I'm gonna try fishing, all right, on my bucket list for the summer. Everybody, you can eat the fish. That's a good thing in our diet. And in those, I watch those movies about living long, documentaries and stuff. Told you I'm trying to live to be 111. And so, some of the other tricks I want to share, or dietary wise, some of the things that seem to be a common thread is the suggestion as fish as a healthy intake. And of course, there's always a twist, right? We have to think about mercury and how things are sourced and whether they're wild versus farmed and whether that's good or bad. And there are different ways to confirm or to learn best practices wise about such matters. But as far as our diet goes, eating eating fish is good for us. What else? Oh, sweet potatoes. That was the other like a little clue. I'm trying to leave clues. A snail trail. No, that's not correct. That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say a cookie crumb trail. I'm like Hansel and Gretel here in the forest. I'm trying to leave nuggets to my like I'm trying to like imagine my soul blankie back here on the tapestry. Me and me and you. Let's talk about food. We're going to eat sweet potatoes because they're good for us and they seem to help people live longer, so far as I can tell. And they taste good and I like them. I feel like sweet potato sushi honestly is like and then a little miso. It's like my perfect meal right there. Throw in a little cucumber, some variety. That is like perfecto, you know what I mean? We'll go for that right now. Anyway. Oh, and the miso, because that's another thing we should think about that we don't typically have in our built into the Western diet. The more people learn about, best practices and probiotics and flora and fauna of our body and how that's all significant and important, we do add kombucha and things. I don't know why I just said in that weird voice. But anyway, we sometimes have learned to supplement that way with probiotics to keep a healthy gut flora and fauna, flowers in your belly. Uh, so kombucha, and I like to do a fire cider. That's like a apple cider vinegar with the mother, so the type that has like the good stuff in it, and then I tend to make a batch. I like to make a batch of that in the fall. You use the last of the peppers, put a bunch of apple cider vinegar, honey, turmeric, ginger, uh, soak that, let that all marinate together. I'm missing a couple of things. Did I say most things? But yeah. So and then you take a shot of it. And it is kind of spicy. It's tasty, and it's supposed to be good for your system. So that's one way to get a little bit of probiotic in there. And like, hi, nice to see you. Thanks for coming. My day's great. How's your day? We're gonna talk about eating stuff today to have a long life, because I'm trying to be 111. Thank you for coming along on my journey. My hot tips are miso and mushrooms. That's the thing. So fermented things, kombucha, miso for the fermentation, which is different from probiotic flora fauna stuff. I got sidetracked in the wrong way. I did. I just gave you really weird advice. So anyway, fermented would be the thing we get out of with the miso, which is also good for us. We need that. Um, and Oh, and mushrooms. Gotta love mushrooms. I love a good forage in the forest for wild things. I like chicken of the woods. I've made chicken of the woods chicken fingers of the woods. Really great, egged and battered, fried up like a chicken finger. Kids love it. I loved it. Kids would probably like it. My kids would be like, you're such a weirdo. But if I didn't tell them, they would just eat it. You know what I mean? And turkey tail mushrooms. I've found and tasted those. Those are really good with like an Alfredo or a cream sauce. Oh, take me away. Um, I love chanterelles, cinnamon chanterelles. Oh, black trumpets. Those were fantastic. Lion's mane. I found no bear's head tooth, which is similar to lion's mane, but bear's head tooth is really good for brain health. And we want to worry and think about brain health. Not worry. Don't worry about anything. What are you gonna do? Drink water. Give love. Um. So yeah, mushrooms. Love the lion's mane and for the brain health and for the cognitive stuff, and also CBD is good for cellular health, and mushrooms also are good for the liver, and we like our healthy liver because it helps to remove heavy metals and contaminants from our body, which so liver health is important, and we can help eat mushrooms to support it. And certain mushrooms are better for supporting different parts of the body, and that's all really fascinating and interesting science with as much variety as you find in the fruit families, if not more. The fungal network is like you know, the cellular, not the cellular. I usually have like an analogy I liked for this. Wouldn't call it. I would call it the neural kind of, right, like the neural network of the planet. The thing, it's like it's under there, it's underlying, it's digesting, it's producing fruit, it's communicating, it's being the network among the life. So and a lot of that is very good for us in our bodies, and we should and have had it in our diet historically, and it's good for us. So even if you're one who's dismissive of mushrooms because maybe you only think of the kind of like the yucky or dry or jarred, or you may have just had like one variety, but there really are an endless variety of mushrooms. You should learn about foraging. One hot tip though, don't wild forage until you have spent at least 2 years studying about mushrooms and learning about them in the forest. That's the advice. I once read that, and it's good advice. You won't know enough, nearly enough, until you've spent at least that amount of time. Don't trust yourself to know until you have been taught, and always double check and confirm and do a positive ID. There are lots of resources and steps online that teach you about that stuff and how to know where and when and how to responsibly harvest. And, you know, hi, welcome. That's it. I don't know. I already got on here once today. I wasn't planning to do another live, but here we go. So, get yourself some bowls. I'm reading messages. Thank you for commenting. Nice to meet you. Welcome. Um, Eat your mushrooms, drink your miso, drink your kombucha and your fire cider, and think about your gut health and your CBD for your cellular health and your mushrooms for your liver and your brain and for many other things. Oh, and lots of just want a diverse diet, you know? Remember the sweet potato and remember what was the other? Fish. It's good for us. Have a good day. Peace.